Hey guys, Magnus here, bringing you another video. This one we're going to be doing... Oh, mic closer, sorry. This one we're going to be doing another video talking about my top 10 playable characters. Now, I've changed it to playable characters. Now, I just want to quickly say, I did say last episode it would probably be mostly non-playable characters, but looking back at it, it's just going to be my top 10 worst playable, worst NPCs. I'm just going to repeat that list. So there's no point. So I changed the title to top 10 playable characters, in that thing. So this is only going to be strictly for playable characters from 2013 to 2016. So these are my top 10 worst. Now, honestly, my lists have changed to some of my older lists. So of course I do have my top 10 worst superhero or top 5 worst superhero characters and top 10 worst Halloween characters and all that kind of stuff. My list has sort of changed a little bit in terms of those, but the level one is still kind of the same, apart from I originally had the French waiter quite high, but people in the comments convinced me, and I've put him a bit lower now, so I've given him a bit more. I've given him something. So he's not actually on this list, but he'd probably be like number 11 or number 12 probably if he was to be on this list. If I was to go to 20. So yeah, so number 10, let's get to number 10. Number 10 is Luke Stetson. So of course, Luke Stetson was in the Wild West event. The Wild West event overall, I mean, it wasn't amazing. In my opinion, I don't think it was amazing, but a lot of people love it for some reason. And it's one of the contenders for best event. And I'm not really a fan of the Wild West event. I didn't like it that much, but a lot of people did. But I feel like Luke Stetson, of course, was a prize. But for me, the kid was very boring. I don't really get his character all that much. He seems like very like I don't want to say stereotypical, but he's like a cliche. He's very cliche like. He's got no voice, which is always awful. I don't like it when they don't have voice, but it's not terrible. You can have a good character without voice, but the tasks themselves are quite stale, in my opinion. The quests, the actual quest line for him, in my opinion, is just boring. I don't really get it that much. I do remember the episode he's from, but I don't really think he's from more than one episode anyway, so he's not a very big character. It's a shame I have to put him here, but there's no one else I think really gets number 10, in my opinion. So yeah, he just about gets number 10. Yeah. So number 9, I've put the Space Mutant. So of course the Space Mutant from Halloween last year, 2 years ago, 3 years, is it 2 years ago now? I think it was, I don't know, don't remember. But of course the Space Mutant was added with the drive-in theatre. Of course, he's a very obscure, I don't really like him. First of all, he's a fictional character in a fictional world. Now those characters can be brilliant. Radioactive Man, one of my favourite characters. Really, really good character. But the problem with the Space Mutant is he's just obscure. And they kind of like made it like it was a mascot inside the Space Mutant, like you could see his eyes, but then they didn't really explore on that all too much in the questline itself was pretty bad. Its tasks, in my opinion, aren't amazing, and it really shouldn't have come with the drive-in theatre. There was plenty of other people who could have come with that. Jay Sherman, Troy McClure, stuff like that could have come with it. I wasn't very excited about him. To me, it's just very bland, and honestly, he could have been a non-playable character, and I would have been happy with that. Not that I'm objecting him having tasks. I'm just saying he doesn't need to have tasks. So number 8 is Malloy. So for me, Malloy, he didn't really deserve to be in the level. To be quite honest, he didn't deserve to be in the level. I feel like he could have, he's a one-episode character. Didn't really appear, he had a few cameos after, I'm pretty sure, but that was about it. He's only relevant for one episode. So to be in a level, I feel like the level characters are characters that are there for more than one episode, and I always felt like they had to be characters who were there for more than one episode. Now I'll give exceptions to like Princess Penelope and like the French waiter and Joey Quimbo and stuff like that, because they're sort of big relatives, like the relatives that sort of you need. But Malloy is just he was like an antagonist for one episode, and that was it. So really, I feel like Malloy could have been better suited in another event. I don't know what event, but he could have been in another event. Overall, he's just very obscure. In my opinion, very boring. He doesn't have voice either, which is not amazing. And he has okay tasks. There are some pretty cool little animations there with him obviously scaling up the museum. So there are some okay tasks, but yeah, overall, I'm just not really that big of a fan. So number seven is Lucille Bobowski, or Bobowski, whatever the heck her name is. So honestly, weird animation, her animation, and it comes down to just the obscurity of her and the weirdness of her and how ugly she is. And it sounds mean, but they obviously, the animators purposely try to make her really, really ugly. So she's got this really horrible walk, and it does look kind of gangsterized in the way. You know, the animation's a bit off, to be honest, and I think the reason is it's from a really old episode. You know, the character hasn't appeared ever again, and she is from an older episode, so they kind of had to develop the older episode character into a sort of like newer thing. So I guess that's probably why. But you know, she's just overall really ugly and not very nice to look at. And yeah, essentially she's a kidnap. I don't even know what she was planning, but it was a pretty dark storyline anyway. She was trying to kidnap the kids. Yeah, she's just not amazing, and overall I just didn't like her that much. So yeah. So number 6 is the Fracker. So the Fracker, to me, he's a very minor character, and this is the problem I have. In the episode he's in, he's he's a minor character, and I didn't like him anyway. Like Winlad and Solar Boy, whatever the heck their name was. I don't know their names. Those two, I can say they were okay-ish. Like they weren't, but I guess they sort of did some pretty cool things with him. With the Fracker, I just felt like he was just not interesting. He just wasn't interesting to me. Very obscure and weird, and I just didn't like it. So that's really why he's number 6. And you know, it's kind of annoying to put a little minor character. I do like it when they take a small character and they develop them, but I can't really put a character like that above a character like you know, like a character like Luan or Kirk Van Houten or something like that, you know, who's been in many episodes. So yeah. Number 5 I put Mrs. Muntz, and just mainly because of her disturbing questline. Like, I didn't read the questlines, and of course Apperson told me about the questline, and I went and read it. Yeah, and it's very dark and a bit disturbing, and I don't, you know, it's not that's bad, because it's okay when they go into but I see this game, tapped out at least, there's a lot of children playing it, and mostly it's going to be children, because the most people who play it would be kids. I mean, let's be honest, there's not going to be you know, tons of adults playing it. And yeah, I know a few, and yeah, of course I know a few adult, like older people, like, yeah, you know, people 30s 40s who play it, but yeah. But I mean, overall, the questline's just a bit dark, and you know, they took it into a weird path. Then they could have done it. Now I know Mrs. Muntz is a character overall, and it kind of comes into The Simpsons, but I don't like a character overall because it is quite sad, you know, with Nelson. You know, because you're not meant to like Nelson because he's a bully and he's an asshole. But then you look at his family, and then you're like, I kind of feel bad for you, because he doesn't. You know, he has the dad who abandoned him and doesn't actually abandon him, but it was he left anyway, you know, whatever. And then you have his mum, who's obviously, she's a prostitute, and she's you know, I presume, well, yeah, she's into drugs and stuff. So it's quite upsetting, but you know, that's why I had to kind of put the character there, you know, number 5, just because of that. And overall, her tasks are quite boring. Number 4. So number 4, I've put King Winter. So I don't like King Winter that much. He's very obscure again. I'm using the obscure a lot, but obscure is really the reason that these characters are even here. And he really shouldn't be a playable character. He should just be an NPC. He really should. You know, it's okay to give him tasks, and you know, there's characters like Fatov. Fatov I like-ish. Like, I'm not crazy about Fatov, but he's okay in my opinion, because they gave him tasks, but it worked. King Winter, I mean, yeah, it works a bit, but I just don't really like it when they you know, throw some tasks for the sake of it. So overall, just didn't like him that much, and a bit boring questline as well. Number 3. So number 3, I've actually gone for a different one, and I never really talked about this character all too much, because I didn't really have when I did the Heights update, I never actually I didn't unlock her. And this is Paris Texan. Now in obviously the Heights update, I hadn't unlocked Paris Texan yet when I did my review, because it kind of took a while. It even took me a while. I actually did it mostly legitly. I say mostly. When I say legitly, I mean didn't skip it with donuts. I did it mostly legitly for it, because I enjoyed it at first. It was okay at first, and then it just got tedious and boring, the whole crafting thing. I don't like it that much. Then I just skipped it because I couldn't be bothered, and I got the Billionaire's Heaven. And of course, after a few tasks with that, you get Paris Texan. And she's like the final prize, And to be honest with you, the reason I put her on the list is she's an awful final prize for an awful event. And maybe they could have made it better by giving us a really, really cool character, but they didn't. They just gave us a really bad one. She's very annoying, in my opinion, and she just wasn't worth it. She wasn't worth it at all. Her tasks are very bland. Her quest line's very bland, and overall the character's just bland. And obviously, it's meant to be a parody of Paris Hilton, obviously. But still, I just don't like it. And, it's bad I have to put it there, but what can I do? Just didn't like it. So number two, I've put Charcoal Briquette. So recently I've sort of not liked this character all too much. As I've actually looked at her quest line, it was awful. Her tasks are, there's like one cool one when she spits out of her head, I guess. And, I feel like for Bastille Day, where she was actually, they could have done a bit more with Bastille Day. They added a French flag with her, and that was all they did. This is their first Bastille Day, and I like it when they did, like, Oktoberfest and Bastille Day and all that. That was really, really cool, because these are some really, obscure events. Not obscure, but obscure. These are worldwide events that are celebrated with different countries. Not just doing Christmas and Halloween, and I like it when they go into different events, because it gives them more to the game. It's also quite nice to go into different cultures and stuff. So yeah, I wish they did a bit more with her. I just didn't like her overall as that thing. And of course, she is a very minor character. She came from the same episode that Fracker did, and it's just there's nothing for her. She's not a big character at all. And they kind of make some okay tasks and all that, but overall I thought she was quite boring. And it's a shame to put a minor character as number 2. But I can't really put other characters as above. I can't put Charcoal above actual developed characters. And of course, we have a number 1, our worst character. So can we have that drum roll? Okay, some of you probably guessed it. It's Gina. So of course, Gina, we got her. Is it like Valente or something, like Gina Valente or something? I don't even know a second name. Or maybe I'm thinking of something else. But yeah, Gina, of course, now she was in the second to last level, Vendetti, sorry. Second to last level of the levels, second to last level. And she was she was the main character, of course. She was the main character for the thing. So, of course, they, she, for me anyway, she's an annoying character, and also she's quite a repetitive character. We've already had this kind of character before, this idea of Bart's girlfriend. Had it before. Of course, we had this like rebellious Bart's girlfriend. It's called Jessica Simpson. Jessica Lovejoy, not Jessica Simpson, that's someone completely different. Jessica Lovejoy, that is Bart's rebellious girlfriend. Gina, in my opinion, I've watched the episode, in my opinion, she is a carbon copy of Jessica. They made her look different, but their personality is quite similar, and I don't like it because of that. It's the same character. Now, if they were to do this episode with Jessica Lovejoy, and they developed on that relationship between Jessica Lovejoy and Bart, and then maybe had Jessica Lovejoy in prison, that would have been good. However, this I don't like it at all. And it's not even Jessica Lovejoy. There's more. Of course, there's like girl Nikki. She's quite rebellious as well. Bart's like the girlfriend for a bit. You have Darcy. You have Maris Buckler. These are all like, they're not rebellious, so to speak, but they're all Bart's girlfriend. The Bart's girlfriend thing has been done to death, a little bit. And it's a bit repetitive when they do it over and over again. Now, yeah, I don't like. So that's the reason I don't like the character in the actual episode. Now, in Tapped Out, why don't I like her in Tapped Out? So first of all, she would have been way, way better suited for Valentine's Day. Why the hell didn't they add her for Valentine's Day? Now, people like Jessica Lovejoy, and you could say, I'll make the same argument, why didn't they add Jessica Lovejoy for Valentine's Day? Now, Jessica Lovejoy has appeared in other episodes. She, of course, is a member of the Lovejoy family, and it was kind of important for them to complete that family in the levels. So she just sort of needed to be in the levels. However, Gina was mainly, it was a one-episode character, really. She's obviously got cameos in other episodes, but she's in another episode, the Moonshine River one. But she essentially is a one-episode character. And they gave her a level. You know, they made her be the mainstay for the level, the main person for the level, and that annoys me because she doesn't deserve it. She just doesn't deserve it. Maybe someone like Wendell, someone like Lewis. You know, they're not really developed characters, so to speak, but they've been there quite a while. So yeah, that's my bash on her. Also, why did she come with a prison bus? There, of course, is the young juvenile prison, the juvenile prison, which she actually was a part of. I don't see why they didn't add her with that. That would have made way more sense. Yes, we've already got 2 prisons in the game, but well, I don't think we had the second one by that point. But we already have one. We already have 1 prison in the game. But why not add it? Because it's better than a broken down decoration that's kind of hard to fit in anyway. You know, and I just overall, I just didn't like her character. Didn't like the fact she was added. I hated that level because there was quite a big break between it, and overall it was just an awful level, and it just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Especially because there was an even longer wait for level 60. You know, just awful. Just awful. So yeah, that's it, guys. That's my bash on Gina. Didn't like her, and I think I've given my fair case to why I don't like her. So yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Please comment, subscribe. Please tell me your thoughts on your top 10 worst characters, and I shall see you next video. Goodbye.